Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Gillis. I'm the assistant sports editor. Our sports editor Charlie Hatch is hard at work on his game story right now. I'm with Luke O'Rourke, our other men's basketball beat writer. We're here at the Convo. Ohio just beat Southern 77-67. The Bobcats are now 1-0 on the season. It looked pretty impressive. Started out back and forth game in the first half, and Ohio really kind of took over at the end of that first half.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the turning point in this game was Rodney Culver. Sorry, I keep botching his name. Rodney Culver, he's a freshman. He did a one-handed put-back slam to push the score 40-38, and ever since then, they never trailed. This was really a game where Jaron Simmons, Antonio Campbell, Ohio's really two core tenets of their offense, their team really, did not play well. Jaron had only 2 points and four turnovers in the first half. So yeah, I mean, this was a game, in my opinion, a game that really showed Ohio's depth. They had 9 players in the first half that registered a minute, and yeah, I mean, Saul Phillips after the press conference seemed pretty confident in going deep.
And I think that's the big takeaway from this game. You know, early on, people were kind of nervous a little bit. You kind of grabbing at your shirt. Tony Campbell left the game a minute and a half in on second foul, so they had to pull him out just to kind of protect him a little bit. But Coach Phillips in the press conference, he said, last year he lived in fear that Jaron and Tony were going to be out for extended periods of time, and he didn't have that today. Luke just mentioned they had 9 players that saw the floor, and I think that was probably another big story. Jason Carter last week, he really impressed against Rio Grande. Today it was Culver who really impressed. So I mean, I think that's the big underlying thing. Kenny Kaminsky in the post-game presser said Ohio was one of the deepest teams in the country, and I think that's probably the most exciting thing, probably the best news that Coach Phillips has taken out of this game.
Yeah, and speaking of Kaminsky, he was 0 for 9 against Rio. He came out today, had a couple of 3-pointers, finished with 5 for 13 from shooting. Not his best shooting performance, but he's a volume shooter, and he's someone that really, if he can get going, he really spaces out the floor, and tonight it showed, especially in that second half. So yeah, I mean, moving forward, Ohio now 1-0 for the 13th time in a row. This is their 13th consecutive season opening win. They have Sam Houston. So anything, any other remarks that you think moving forward that this team may have to?
No, I mean, I think that there's really not a lot to dislike about today's performance. I mean, when you win by 10 and your 2 best players don't have their best game, I think Tony Campbell only had 27 minutes, and you had a couple other guys registering 34 and 35 minutes. So, I mean, when you're missing that guy for 8 minutes and you still win by 10, and Jaron Simmons, your point guard, doesn't play that well, and you still win by 10, there's a lot that you can take out of this game as a positive for the Bobcats. But just moving forward, you can count on Campbell, you can count on Simmons. Kaminsky played really well today, and you get those added contributions from the bench, from Dardis, from Culver, from Carter, from all those guys that are going to come off the bench. I think it's going to be really exciting to see what this team can do moving forward.
Yeah, and speaking of coming off the bench, Doug Taylor, Jordan Dardis, kind of guys that have kind of been the 4th, 5th gear sometimes for this Bobcat team, especially last year, really shined today. I mean, Dardis had, I hate using the word shine, but Dardis had 15 points, and he sometimes, as Phillips has said, he sometimes doesn't shoot as much as he probably should. So yeah, I mean, that's it from the Convo. I'm Luke O'Rourke. I'm the men's basketball reporter, and
I'm Andrew Gillis, the assistant sports editor. And stick with the Post. We'll have coverage of men's basketball team all season long and stories from today's game on our website. Thanks.
Thank you.